Hey everybody, Tim here with today's review of Titans Season 2, Episode 4, Aqualad. So to be honest with you, I didn't really dig this episode that much. Like, it was entirely all told in flashbacks, which, granted, Season 1 did have an episode like that, but this one, it all just seemed like, I don't know, shoehorned in, I guess, would be the term I'm looking for. I don't even know what the term I'm looking for is. It didn't seem like it was needed. Like, in the first 3 episodes, we've learned a little bit, mostly about Deathstroke, and like how he was kind of the main reason that the Titans closed up shop in San Francisco to begin with. And so it seems like we're going to be learning a lot more about that and what the exact reason is. And I mean, you can kind of gather right away like what exactly is going on. I mean, they already name dropped Aqualad before this episode. They name dropped Aqualad. And then Roy Harper was name dropped as well. So I'm assuming we're going to see him at some point. If not, they'll probably save him for the next season. So I'll start out right off the bat. Like, there's going to be a lot of spoilers for this episode, clearly, because that's just how I do reviews. But for me, for somebody who doesn't know a lot about the Titans, like, source material, like, I read a lot of Batman comics and stuff like that, but not a lot of Titans. So I'm kind of torn a little bit, because I have seen Teen Titans, the cartoon, and I have seen the Young Justice cartoon, and I know a little bit about some of the comic book lore. So I kind of can hold my own in a conversation, but I'm having a difficult time because this is a lot more in depth than I'm used to. So I'm trying to look at it from just somebody who doesn't know anything about it and just watching it from that standpoint, and somebody who has access to Wikipedia, because I took a brief search on Wikipedia, started getting a lot more information than I expected, and was like, nope, let's just see how this show unravels. So, like I said, so a lot of spoilers. If you guys haven't watched it, probably don't watch this. So, most of this entire episode took place 5 years ago. So if you think about it, like, Dick was still working with Bruce, like, long before Jason. And it actually starts out with kind of an interesting scene where we see Deathstroke killing people. So clearly we know he's an assassin. And also I know a little bit about some of the, like, Deathstroke I know a little bit about from, like, the Arrowverse and stuff like that. We meet this young kid who cannot talk. Now, I know from when, like, publicity was coming out that and by the way, let me stop right here before I go any further. Kind of where we are today as a society, if I use the wrong terminology or if I say something that's not correct, I apologize, because that's not what I mean to do. I'm not trying to offend anybody, and I don't actually know. So if I do say something wrong, I completely apologize for that. So, we meet a kid who cannot talk. Now, judging by what I can see in this episode, he is mute. He cannot speak. Now, I saw a lot of publicity before this came out when this person was first cast. I forgot to write down the name. I'm sorry. So I know that the actor is deaf, which is awesome. I actually took some sign language in school because my high school, you had to take 2 years of a foreign language. All they offered was Spanish. So I actually went to a nearby high school and learned some sign language. And it's definitely one of those use it or lose it type things. And unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to use a lot of it, so I've lost most of it. But it was kind of interesting to watch them sign back and forth and try to pick up on what I can remember. So I think it's interesting that they cast a deaf actor to play what I'm assuming is a mute character. Because there's multiple times where people are talking, but he is not looking at them, but still responds. So it definitely seems like this character is just mute, but not deaf, unlike the actor. So I think that's interesting right off the bat. We do meet Aqualad, aka Garth, which is not the Aqualad I'm used to from, like, Young Justice, although I think he did make an appearance. So that was kind of interesting, and he's kind of a fun character. He's really interesting. Most of it is based around his birthday, is most of this episode. Let's see, we see, and he goes by Gar, which I think is funny because we also have Garfield, which is the Beast Boy character. So old Titans, new Titans, they both have their own Gar. Clearly, Aqualad and Wonder Girl have some sort of a relationship going on where he's more interested in her than she is in him. She goes to meet Jillian, and there was such a big to-do, like the music and the lighting and everything. And at first, I was like, who is that? Like, is that the original Wonder Woman? Who is that? Like Linda Carter? Like, I don't get it. But it's not. Clearly it's not. She plays the character Jillian, and basically it seems like Jillian's kind of the middle ground to go from Themyscira to Earth, or like wherever they are, San Francisco at this point. And she's kind of the middle ground. And Donna's like, I just want to go home. And Jillian's like, you got 6 months. Like, that's up to you. And so it's kind of interesting to watch how Donna has like this mediator between the two different worlds. And clearly Donna is still in our world based off of like season 1. So it's kind of, you don't know really what's going to go on. We see Dr. Light bomb a bank, which is kind of like, okay, he's a bad guy. We get it. Dick is dating Dawn. And so that's huge. Like, I don't remember them talking about this. And he even says, like, well, when Hank and Dawn had their big blow up, and now Dick and Dawn are dating, which we know they slept together from season 1. But that blew my mind that they actually were in a relationship together. And like, for me, like, I can't even imagine being in like Hank's like mind space where they were clearly together to begin with. Evidently they broke up. Dawn and Dick started dating. Obviously they're going to break up, and then Dawn and Hank are going to get back together. So all sorts of like relationship dramas going on that to me is honestly not needed. That just complicates storylines, but it really kind of threw me for a loop. So Donna has to go back, and then of course we finally get to this big scene where, so Donna decides she wants to go back. She lies to everybody, sleeps with Gar, and kind of makes him feel used. And she's like, you know what? No, I gotta go back. And she lies to everybody to leave. And then this is where Gar finally shows up and is like, you slept with me just to leave me? And obviously he's pissed. And then he's shot. So, like I said, from the first couple of episodes, they mention how Deathstroke, like, they thought Deathstroke died, so I'm assuming they think one of them killed him. But the fact, they mention how Deathstroke is what ended the Titans. So I'm assuming this is kind of the catalyst. And, like, Deathstroke shooting Gar is going to kind of bring the Titans together to go after him. And that's going to kind of be what most of the season's about. But, like, to see Gar get shot, I was not surprised. Like, it was not a twist. It was not a shock. Because, obviously, we haven't seen him in the present, so something's going to happen. And to know who Deathstroke is, like, it wasn't surprising. So the whole thing, this whole episode was just a lot of build-up that didn't really need to be, like, it didn't feel necessary to me. Finally, we kind of come to the end of the episode, which is a little bit more of the twist, where we meet the mute character once again, and Dick introduces himself, and the mute character introduces himself as Jericho, which it was kind of great, like I got it, it's Jericho, and that was fantastic. I don't know who Jericho is. I've never heard of this character, to be honest with you. So, like I said, I briefly was like, who's Jericho? And I got his name on, spoiler alert, his name's Joseph Wilson. So this is presumably Deathstroke, like that's as far as I got, and I was like, oh God, stop, why? So presumably this is also Deathstroke's son. So we know he has Rose, and presumably he has Jericho. I don't know, like I'm making this up at this point, this is just my own assumptions, and before I like shut down my Wikipedia. So if you guys know, like, I don't know, if you want to spoil it for me, you can. I'm not, like, against spoilers or anything. But if you want to be like, oh, you're in for a treat, go ahead, just leave it open for me, because I'm super excited to see what happens. But overall, like I said, most of this episode is so flashback, and it's so Gar-oriented, and it's clearly, like, development for the Garth character, just to watch him get killed so we have that emotional connection, but I didn't feel like it was necessary. Like, I didn't necessarily need it. So for those who saw this one, what did you guys think about meeting Jericho, about meeting Gar? What did you think about the whole Dick and Dawn relationship, the Gar and Donna relationship? All sorts of stuff's going on in this one. So what do you guys think so far about the first 4 episodes? Thank you guys for watching. Let me know, and I will see you guys next time for big surprise. The next episode's called Deathstroke. I'm assuming the whole next episode is again a flashback about the Titans going after him. So go ahead, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for everything, and I will see you next time.